Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at the Fiat Uno. Hello and welcome back, and if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a very small channel here on YouTube looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars and car brochures, please consider subscribing. Anyway, every Friday we look at a Ford. We call it Ford Friday, but today we're looking at a Fiat, the Fiat Uno. So I guess it's Fiat Friday. I don't know. I just didn't find a Ford brochure that really inspired me today, so I chose this one because really the Fiat Uno is something I've been promising the channel for a while. We looked at the diesel version, we've looked at the performance version, we've even looked at some accessories for the Fiat Uno, but we've never got round to looking at the full range Fiat Uno brochure, and here it is. So without further ado, let's have a look at today's brochure. So here is today's brochure, and you just about make out some ears. There is a black cat behind there who may disturb us at any point, but never mind, let's crack on. So yes, we're going to look at a Fiat today. This is the Fiat Uno brochure for 1985, in fact May 1985. The Fiat Uno came out in 1983, so it's quite an early brochure and ran all the way till 1995, although there was a bit of a facelift around about 1989, I seem to remember, but this is obviously pre-facelift, more of the original design. Let's zoom in on some of the images, and of course we've got a dealer stamp there, so we should look at that as well. So the Fiat Uno as the cat, there we go, thank you. So the Fiat Uno, quite a nice little design I think for the time. Tiny little door mirrors though, didn't they? I always quite liked the Fiat Uno design, and 1984 came around and it actually became European Car of the Year, just beating the Peugeot 205. And in fact, when this was launched, it actually just came 1 month before the Peugeot 205, so it was becoming quite a hotly contested segment of the motor industry in Europe at this time. All these little sporty, well, not too sporty some of them, but lots of these little small hatchbacks, and of course then we've got the hot hatches as well. No hot hatches in this one. The Performance Uno we've already actually looked at, but it shows us the range and the different models you could get at this time, so it is pretty interesting. At the top here, like I say, there is a dealer stamp. If I can tune that in a little bit. There we go. So your local Fiat dealer today is Godfrey's Sutton and Cheam Limited, from Sutton obviously. So that is the dealership that this brochure originally came from in 1985. Anyway, without further ado, let's open the brochure up and see what's inside. So first of all, at the back here we can see, two different types. You got a 5-door and a 3-door. Notice the different handles. You can see that 3-door, that very sort of basic little handle design. The 5-door had sort of the more traditional handles on there. And of course this was a Giugiaro design, so Ital design. A nice little design for the 80s, I think. And there were many different variations, not just 3 and 5 doors. There are other little variations which we'll have a look at in this brochure, but it's kind of like showing us the Comfort, the Super, and the ES, which the ES would have been actually the Super ES. Single wiper, of course. Many cars at the time started doing single wipers, Citroën in particular with things like the BX, but there it is on the Fiat Uno. Simple sort of Fiat badge at the front there. And you can see this Comfort, very lowly spec with just the plain steel wheels, but like I say, we'll go through the range in a moment. And really this introduction, this worded introduction here is really talking about that time it won Car of the Year in Europe, 1984. And then this very wordy page, I'm not going to read through all this. It is a little bit too wordy, but at the top it's saying Uno, the £380 million car, telling us it was an investment of 380 million in 6 years of development to create this car. And this unusual statement here where it's saying it's the first aerodynamic small car. Not too sure about that statement, but it is telling us, this drag coefficient of 0.34 on the 55 Super, fuel consumption of 58.9 at a steady 56. And obviously, this is what these cars were all about, little town cars that give really good fuel economy. And they were quite a light car. It's telling us here the 70 Super, the larger engine version, could do 103 miles per hour. And it also introduces the range, and like I say, we'll look at that in a moment. It's saying 6 superb models boast the name Uno. 45 Comfort, 3-door. 55 Comfort, 5-door. The fuel-conscious 45 Super ES, 3-door. The 55 Super 3 and 5-door. And the 70 Super 5-door. Like I say, it will introduce those models in a moment. And then it goes on to a title entitled Classic Fiat Reliability. Unusual little bit of a caption. I don't know if Fiat was ever really renowned for being reliable, so I'm not sure how reliable these were. I don't think they were bad cars overall though. So we then turn the page and it then starts introducing those models to us. And as you would expect, the more basic ones first, starting with the Uno Comfort. So let's read some of this text and some of these nice images. Okay, so it starts by telling us both versions of the Comfort. The 45 Comfort, 3-door with 903cc, and the 55 Comfort with a 5-door and an 1116cc. And they always had these unusual little things like 45 and 55, and that tended to be roughly the brake horsepower of these cars. It says it boasts a dashboard that's designed with true Fiat practicality. Information at a glance, controls at your fingertips. The heating and ventilation system is easy to operate for both driver and passenger. Lighting controls, it is a flick of a switch. The single wiper blade covers the whole windscreen, and the electric windscreen washer has no less than 3 strategically placed jets. Air vents demist the windscreen and the side windows, and the combination of rear footwell heating and ventilation ducts direct the airflow throughout the car. So obviously this black one nearest towards us would be the 55 Comfort, being that it's a 5-door, and the red one at the back there would be the 45 Comfort, being as it's just the 3-door model. Interior wise, quite a plain vehicle really, as you would expect, as it's only a cheap to buy vehicle, but kind of like it reminds me a little bit of a Citroen type design with these switch gears kind of like brought forward towards that steering wheel, and obviously we're before the days of the airbag. Looks like we've got a bit of a blanking plug here. I'm going to guess that that's probably the cigarette lighter, but we do get a nice little basic radio in there as well, although it says that particular radio is an optional extra. Zoom in on some of those fingertip controls. It says a flick of a switch controls the lights, and the push of the button operates the hazard warning and rear fog lights. And a little bit of a look at those warning lights. And then the next page really, shows us some of the images of the Uno Comfort. It does tell us that the front seats recline and have fitted head restraints, which is part of an optional extra pack of the 45 Comfort. And it also says, unlike other cars in its class, the back seats can be adjusted to accommodate bulky luggage. And then the next page reveals the next vehicle in the range, the Uno Super. So let's have a look at some of the text and some of the images. So the Uno Super, it says the 45 Super ES 3-door, 55 Super 3 and 5 door, 70 Super 5 door with 903cc, 1116cc and 1299cc engines respectively, offer excellent performance coupled with a wide range of brilliant mechanical refinements. The 5-speed gearbox further refines the car's exceptional performance. 0 to 62 in 11.5 seconds for the 70 Super. It then goes on to say, however, as is so often the case, the performance has not been brought at the expense of economy. The 5-speed gearbox lowers both revs and fuel consumption. Rack and pinion steering and fully independent suspension make for smoother, sportier handling, while the servo-assisted brakes in the 55 and 70 models leave no doubt about stopping power. As on the comfort, control is at your fingertips. Additional features include 2-speed heating and ventilation system, interior hatch release, lockable fuel filler cap and 3-speed wipers including intermittent wipe. Add to these an option pack which includes electric front windows, central door locking on all 4 passenger doors, rev counter, electronic check panel and digital clock on the 70 Super, and you've a good idea of the super sophistication of the Uno. You can even option an optional sunroof to the 45 ES, 55 Super and 70 Super. And then we get the little bit of a dash look at the Super version, but this doesn't appear to have that rev counter on it, does it? And then a couple of little images, both the 3-door and the 5-door, and then showing these different wheels, sort of these wheel caps on there. And then like the comfort, this is the Super interior, much nicer, much brighter material I feel. This is apparently padded cloth. And then we get this large sort of image of the Uno Super ES, kind of like you're led to believe the ES might be like a really high spec version, but this is more about economy with these sort of like flush wheel trims, etc. But we'll turn the page and learn a bit more how they made it more economical. So the Uno Super ES, Fiat's long drive for economy, has brought about the remarkable ES concept. ES stands for energy saving, a priority that clearly evident in the Uno 45 Super ES. For a start, Fiat has improved on an already efficient aerodynamic design with flush wheel covers, air deflectors in front and rear wheels, and a special sealing gasket between the grille and bonnet. Then there are the mechanical involvements like the highly refined Digiplex electronic ignition system and an electronic fuel cut-off device which minimises wasteful consumption of fuel on the overrun. Finally, there are dashboard features like the econometer and gear change indicator, both of which help to optimise fuel efficiency. The results of these improvements are an incredibly low drag coefficient of 0.33 and staggering fuel economy figures of 65.7 miles per gallon at a constant 56 miles per hour, as well as a top speed of 87 miles per hour. I wonder if them fuel economy figures, how they worked in the real world. So a similar sort of dash layout, but like I say, on the right there's that unusual sort of econometer there. I guess you could keep an eye out, and something about the 5-speed gearbox, I'm not sure exactly how that lit up, maybe to optimise fuel efficiency. I don't know if one of them was lit up, but that's a very small little chart, but nevertheless I'm sure there was some sort of lights, etc. Then we've got a few little images here that sort of like deflector behind the wheel to improve fuel economy, those flush wheel trims, and again it's showing that econometer. And what's this at the bottom here? Lockable fuel cap, I'm not sure how that fits in there. And then just a general image of a Fiat Uno, showing how practical it is. You know, fold the seats back, move the seats around. Quite a clever little feature for a small car. And then we got the Uno specifications. Because of the way it's written out in these very small writing, going down 2 pages in fact, I think we're just going to stick with the engine in this particular case, because otherwise I think it'd be hard to keep track of where we're up to on a long brochure like this. But we can see that at the start, 45 comfort 3-door, 903cc, and you can see 45 bhp to match that 45 figure. Same sort of deal on the 45 Super ES, similar sort of figures there. Now if we move along, we've got the 55 Comfort 5-door, which had an 1116cc and 55 bhp. The 55 Super 3 and 5-door, again 1116cc with that 55 bhp. And then this largest engine one at the end here, the 70 Super 5-door, 1299cc and 68 bhp. So I guess they just rounded it up to 70. So then we get accessories, and I guess this is demonstrating these rather horrendous wheel trims and a bit of a body stripe you could add. Various different in-car entertainments. A roof rack with, you know, for your holidays. Even towing accessories, and I'm not sure how much you want to really tow with this little car, but it was possible. And then safety and protection, and I'm glad we've moved on a bit with the cowled seats, etc. They don't look very good, or indeed very comfortable. So on the back page, super simple, and obviously this is where your dealer stamp should have been, although they decided to obviously stick that sticker on the front for whatever reason. But it also shows us the date stamp. There you go, it actually says in the text there May 85, but a little date stamp there showing again May 1985. This particular brochure looks like it was designed and produced by Newton and Goodin Limited and printed in England. So there we go, the Fiat Uno for Fiat Friday. And don't worry Ford fans, this is not really going to be a regular thing. I'm sure Ford Friday will come back soon. I know a lot of people do like that. Thank you so much for watching today. Many more videos coming in the near future, so please do like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment as well your experience with the Fiat Uno. I always enjoy reading those as well. But for now we'll say enjoy your weekend. Another episode tomorrow, which will be your Saturday special with a special edition car. But we'll see you very soon. So for now we'll say take care and goodbye.